shape, a little bit smaller of an eye, less lid. We're gonna do a lash line natural smoky. So the color is gonna be concentrated right along that lash line instead of your creased smoky look, which we'll demonstrate later on myself. Always start with an eye primer. This happens to be my favorite, the 24-hour Photo Finish Smashbox Eye Primer. You're gonna go lash line to brow bone. When working around your eyes, try to use the ring finger. It's going to be the most delicate. We did create a face chart for you. I'm going to follow these steps as well, and you can refer back to see how it's done. So we're going to prime first and then tight line. In tight lining the eye, we're gonna take care of the little spaces you see when you put on mascara of skin. Look down for me. You're gonna gently hold the eye up and just press into the lash line. It's just gonna give you some soft definition and make sure that you don't see any spaces when we get our lashes and mascara on.
How would they do this on themselves?
So the easiest way is looking, if you wear contacts, very, very similar. So I just look down, pull up on my lid here, and press. Cream, gel works best. You can use a pencil as well, similar to a waterline. However, it's gotta be something other than kohl, because although kohl is antibacterial, it won't stay. It's made for smudging. This is going to be our best friend, face and eye palette, the contour and sculpting palette all in one. So we can contour and shape our eyes as well as our skin. We're gonna take the cool tan for Kayla's look and go lash line to crease. So everything on the lid, not the brow bone. Anytime you dab or pat in a shadow, you're gonna see more pigment payoff. Anytime you rub or blend, it's gonna shear it out. If shadow placement is ever a problem, make sure you look straight into the mirror. Your eye shape and your crease lay very differently when your eye is open versus closed. Now we're gonna take our dark brown, Ruddy Earth, and go on the lash line in that outer corner. When doing the outer corner, it's extremely important to keep your eye open so you have that placement correct. Look straight. Make sure we're always blending so you don't see a differentiation in color when it comes to shadows. Any lines, I should say. When in doubt, blend it out.
Clever. Why do you do the eyes first?
Good question. Always do your eye makeup first. You save yourself extra work. As you can see, we have a lot of black under here, some fallout from the shadows. We do our eyes so we don't have to redo our skin afterwards. Next, we're gonna take the sculpting powder. This is what we will use to contour both our eye and our face. It's that nice ashy brown to create a shadow. So we're just gonna take a little bit and throw this in the crease. Very important, again, when doing the crease, to keep your eye forward, looking straight. This should fit a ponytail brush right in the crease here, and just windshield wiper motion. It's the most natural way to do it. Next, we're going to take our candlelight, which is our highlighter. We're going to put this in the brow bone. If you get too heavy in your crease or create a line here, which can happen, this is a good way to also blend that down. Not erase it, but blend it down. Next, we're going to brighten up that inner corner of the eye to help our eyes appear more open and bright-eyed, as well as right under the arch of the brow. It will help our eyes look lifted, especially if we have a heavier brow bone here. Just right here under the arch, and that's with our brightest white. It's called Brighten. Next, we'll take our precision pen, or any liquid felt tip marker liner is going to be best. If you want to use are they getting this in their kit? Okay, so if you want to use a gel or a cream, that works too. Hesitation with gels is sometimes they crack, so be sure you get one that doesn't. Again, we're going for a more natural neutral smoky. So we're not doing a crazy cat eye, just a nice thin line to define the eye. Down and out towards me. This is going to be the best way to get this inner corner of your eye, is to look down and out on either side.
Any tips you have for them to get a straight line on themselves?
Personally, I work in one direction on one eye and the opposite direction on the other eye. So I'm a right-handed artist. On my left eye, I go out, in, and on my right eye, I go in, out. It just kind of depends. You'll find your own little niche. Some of you may be better with a flat tip brush and a cream or a gel, and some people may work well with a felt tip marker. I find this to be the easiest. You don't want something too runny. The real liquidy ones, it's gonna be a mess. If you need to, take a pencil, take a kohl pencil, do your line first and go over it with your cream or your felt tip. That's another trick. Or creating your shape. Again, we're not doing an exaggerated cat eye, so that's why I didn't say this in the first place, because if we are, I would say draw your shape first, where you want your corner to be, like a triangle, and then fill it in. Whatever works for you, but we can help you with that. throughout the
And if
season
they can't
too.
get like a clean line, smudge it out a little bit. It doesn't have to be
Super sharp.
exact.
Correct, not for this look. Also, that's what this is for. Now we clean up. Take any remover, oil, sometimes even a moisturizer will work. And this is why we do our eyes first. Same on the other eye, just cleaning it up. And my own little secret to tie the look together is to take just a pop, just a hint of your blush, just a little bit. Look straight. And just right here, what I call on the pop of your eye, right in that center, by the crease. It will just finish the look all together at the end, after our face is done. Lastly, we'd finish up with mascara and lashes, but I'm gonna wait on that and we'll hop to the skin. Prepping the skin, again, very, very important. I always like to start with a toner, balance your pH of the skin. If you are dry, a beauty oil, a rose oil, something that's calming and something that's gonna seep into your skin and give you that moisture from the outside in. Kayla's pretty normal, so we don't need that.
Thanks, dude.
Well, only time I'll say that. Her skin's looking great right now. You know, we don't have any breakouts. We're not overly dry. We're not overly oily. I'm going to use the illuminating foundation. Those of you that are normal to dry will probably have this in your kit. Those of you that are not and are more normal oily are going to have one of these. This is going to be your highest coverage, and we can go over how to use this at a later date because there's a learning curve. This one is a Shakewell foundation, the Sensual Skin Fluid. Strictly pigment and hyaluronic acid serum. So it's good for your skin, but it's very strong. A little bit goes a long way. It comes with a dropper, and you just need a couple drops. Sensual Skin Fluid, you're gonna want to use a buffing brush, something that's dense, flat, and you're gonna just motion it in circles and buff it into your face. The Sensual Skin Enhancer, a little bit goes a long way. This stuff can cover up a tattoo. It's very, very, very heavy and pigmented. To sheer it out, you can mix it with your primer. You can mix it with a moisturizer. If you want heavy coverage, go ahead and use it straight, but it's not necessary all the time. Again, thick, dense brush is great with this. We roll and we push it in. Otherwise, a beauty blender as well, which is also what we'll use. Beauty blender is suggested for the illuminating foundation. You never want to use a beauty blender dry. Make sure you always moisten it up. It will suck up all your products. This is called stippling. Stippling is the technique you always want to use when using a sponge. No ratchet lines. We need to make sure the foundation matches, and we are here to help you with that. I know a lot of you like to be tan. That's what bronzer's for. Doesn't mean you get a foundation that's 3 shades too dark. Your face doesn't stay spray tan when you spray tan either. So again, we can darken it up with bronzer. again with a blender, stippling. If you need more coverage in an area, press into it. Less coverage, swipe. Shear it out. Then we go back in with your concealer. Any blemishes, any redness. It's important to note we can cover any tonal differences. We cannot cover dimension. So cystic acne is going to be tough. That's again referring back to working on our skincare. Any type of dry skin, anything like that. We can cover tonal things, we cannot cover dimension. There are certain areas, majority of people see redness. Right around the nose, sometimes around the mouth or the chin. Concealer for that. Don't be afraid to use your fingers and your hands either. Product works really well while it's warmed up by the warmth of your fingers. A reason we choose this product line is it is very highly pigmented and it has a lot of built-in primers, mostly water resistant, which is important for long wearability for you guys. I'm going to switch to a different concealer for the under eye. Sometimes face blemish concealer can be a little bit too dry for the under eye and make it look crepey. So you just want to make sure you have something that's creamy enough, that's not going to crease, but that's creamy enough to not look crepey under your eye. Look up for me. A little bit goes a long way with concealer. A lot of people overdo it. As important as priming is setting. Always set your under eye. You will crease, you will have issues if you do not. Light and fluffy brush. You never want a lot of powder on there. It will give you that cakey appearance. So before I go in with anything else on her skin, because I'm gonna lay powders over for bronzing, for contouring, for highlighting, for blush, we're gonna set it with a powder. Cream on cream, powder on powder, so you don't get a mess or a cakey appearance. Even though this is an illuminating foundation, you guys are on the court, you're getting sweaty. We're setting everybody. Although we're going for a natural appearance, we're still gonna contour, especially with the bright lights, with being so far away down on the court. This is our sculpting powder, the same thing we use to sculpt the eye. Good rule of thumb is where you get this little indent in your cheek to the corner of your mouth. The point of contouring is to create a shadow, so your cheekbone looks more prominent. Make sure we blend. We don't want to see a muddy line. It's nice to use a smaller brush for this so it can fit right in there. Suck in your cheekbone. Fit right under that cheekbone. Kayla doesn't have a big forehead. If she did, 5 head over here, she'll show you, but we'll contour this as well, just to create a little bit of a diffused line at the forehead. Jaw lines, also a great place. Nobody likes to have a double chin. This will help blend in your contour, also warm your face up a little bit, as we like to be tan, of course. It's Wisconsinites. All bronze for the bed. Bronzer should be applied at the 5 high points of your face. It's where the sun naturally hits when you get a tan. Your forehead, your nose, your cheeks, and your chin. Blush should be applied no closer than 2 inches outside of your nose. If you get in closer, it makes your face appear more full and round, and that's not really what we like to look like. Right at the apple of your cheek, a little bit upwards. Blush, cheek color, bronzer, anything on your face, especially in the cheek area, first thing to drown out with bright white lighting. Very important for you guys to amp up blush for the court. Back to our highlighter. Same thing we used on the brow bone. We're gonna make like a nice little horseshoe. Right here at the top of our cheekbone, down, and then just around, kind of blend it into the eye. Gonna help that cheekbone again pop out, especially with those lights. We like a good amount of this on the court, not too much. We're not trying to be a disco ball. Reflects the light very nicely, but we don't want too much reflection. We can also highlight the bridge of the nose. If you have a smaller forehead like Kayla, and do right here in the center. Cupid's bow helps that lipstick stick out, and right underneath as well. And if we go back to a eye brush, we can do right here at the arch of the brow as well. Brows are like a picture frame for your face. They define your face, they shape your face. It's very important to fill in your brows. can use a pomade on Kayla, a little bit, again, goes a long way with this. It's the Dip Brow by Anastasia. When you're filling in your brows, you want to start about a third of the way down and do a strong line to the apex where your arch is. Then the apex, again, strong line down. In here, we're just gonna go in the direction of the hair growth, nice and light. We don't want that to be as dark and defined. We want that arch to really be the focal point. Direction of hair growth to fill it in. Now always jump back in and define that. You can do so with your concealer, you can do so with your highlighter. Third of the way, up to the apex, same thing down. If you need more pigment payoff, go against the grain of the hair. Or if you're struggling with the shape, you can brush up with your mascara wand, brush down the hair to get that top line, brush up the hair to get that bottom line. And again in the direction of the hair growth here, ever so slightly. It's very important when applying your lipstick to use a liner. Not only is it gonna define your lips further, it's gonna allow you longer wearability. Fill in your entire lip with your liner. It's gonna give you much longer wear. A liquid matte's gonna also be your best option for wearability on the court. You can go in with your concealer if you need to. Again, pop that Cupid's bow with the highlighter.
And do you suggest putting anything over a matte lip, like Vaseline or Aquaphor, so it doesn't get crusty?
You can. It's gonna give you a glossy look. So depending, I don't know what we discussed, if we're going for a matte look or a glossy look. But
More matte.
using Aquaphor on your lips nightly or daily is a great tip, especially after you use your sugar scrub. Another added tip for our lash line smoky, because of the smaller eye, is to take a white or neutral pencil and throw that on your lower waterline. Again, just gonna help the eye appear more open and a little bit bigger. Lashes. There are a lot of different options when it comes to lashes. Personally, we prefer individuals versus strips, or trios versus strips, Strips tend to lift a little bit too easy, as you guys may know from the past. I'm going to demonstrate how to put these on and kind of the subtle difference in looks. These tend to give you a little bit more fullness and you need less pieces. Individuals, very customizable. They come in short, medium, and long, so you can really, if you want to taper off the end, if you want to make it more exaggerated like a cat eye at the end, you can apply longer ones in the outside corner. Also available, I do lash extensions. So if you guys are interested in that, you get 20% off any services with me at Bare Beauty. Lash extensions typically run $199 for your first initial full set, and then each fill is about an hour every like 3 weeks, and that's $60, but you guys get 20% off of those prices. That goes for skin too, so I do skin treatments as well as facials.
And waxing.
And waxing. So you're just gonna take and dip it in a little bit of glue. You don't need a lot. You wanna give it a tiny bit of time to just air dry. You're gonna create a stickier glue that way. Better adhesion. A little tricky to learn how to do on yourself. Just takes a little practice. But you don't have to worry about lining up a strip to your lash line. You want to adhere these right at the base of the lash, not on the skin. And then the difference between a lash extension versus these individual falsies is the extensions. A synthetic lash is adhered to each one of your natural lashes with a medical adhesive. So again, they start to shed with your natural lashes. We all shed lashes, we just don't always know. And that's why you would get a fill usually about every 3 weeks. We can create them as natural or as dramatic as you wish. Similar to these. But you don't have to put them on all the time. Okay. But you can notice the difference right away with one eyelash and one eye not. If you want to create a more open-eyed look, you're going to place longer lashes in the center, shorter ones on the corners, both inside and outside. If you want a more upturned, exaggerated cat eye look, you're going to place those longer lashes just on the outer corner and shorter gradually from the inner corner on. This will help you level your lashes. Take the back of your tweezer. With the completed look, number one thing we forgot, setting spray. This is gonna lock it in for the entire game. Just as I remember, priming and setting, very, very, very important for you guys. And that's the completed look. Any questions, just let us know. We're happy to help or go through certain techniques and skincare questions, brushes, whatever you have.
And these will be applying on you guys. You guys don't have to do the individuals. You can do the trios, which are a little easier to apply. And that would just be like with the tweezer. popping it on.
Cool.